G'day and welcome to another video. In today's lesson we will learn how to make this very cute cowl. I've got it doubled over at the moment, but it is very easy to make it any length that you want. It can also be made as a scarf, and I will insert some photos so you can see different ways to wear it. There is also a free written pattern located on my website. I will put the link that you need in the description box. So let's get started on the lesson. For our supplies, we're going to need some yarn. I'm using worsted weight yarn today. That is equivalent to 10 ply. You can also use 8 ply double knit or sports weight. You will need extra chains if you choose the thinner yarn, but that's easy done. I'm going to be using a 6mm or a J size crochet hook. I want loose tension with this one because I want it to drape nicely. I've also got a yarn needle with a large eye and a pair of scissors. This grey one is a 5 ounce or 141 grams, and it is the colour grey heather. This is the 7 ounce or 200 gram ball, and it is a turquoise. And the meterage on those ones are 164 yards and 333 meters. So my blue is going to be my contrast colour, so I'm going to be using my grey for my main colour of my project. The multiple of this pattern is 14 plus 2, and for my scarf I've used 28 chains plus 2, so that's 30. But if you wanted to make your scarf wider, for instance if you're using the thinner yarn, you may need to add 1 or 2 extra groups of the 14 chains. But the multiple of the pattern is 14 plus 2. It is quite windy here today, so I apologise if you hear the wind in the background. So what we want to do is chain 30. And our 30 chains is made up with 2 groups of 14, which is 28, and then it's 2 on the end. So what we're going to do is double crochet into the 3rd chain from the crochet hook. We're not including the one that's on our hook, which is just here. We're going to go into the 3rd chain. So that's 1, 2 and 3. So double crochet. So that's wrapping our yarn, going into the stitch. Pull up a loop, pull through 2 and pull through 2. And this pattern actually, you start and end your row with an increase. So these 2 stitches here are classed as an increase. I'm going to do 1 double crochet into the next 4 chains, going into the next 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're going to do a decrease into the next 2 chains, so yarning over going into the chain, pull up a loop, pull through 2 and leave these 2 crochet loops on your hook, yarn over. We're going to do that into the next stitch as well. Pull up a loop, pull through 2, and now we're going to pull through all 3. We want to do that again into the next 2 stitches. So pull up, pull through 2, leave those 2 crochet loops on the hook, into the next chain, pull up, pull through 2, and then pull through all 3. So we've got 2 decrease stitches. We're going to double crochet into the next 4 chains, so just normal double crochet. I'm sure you can hear that wind because it's really windy out there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to do an increase into the next 2 chains. So an increase is 2 stitches into the one, so into the next chain. So that's 1, and a double crochet in the same chain. So we want to do that again into the next chain. Going to work 2 stitches. And then we're going to repeat from the star. So that's our first part, and we can just see how it's starting to form there. So the star says 1 double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. We're going to decrease in the next 2 stitches. So let's pull through, leave your 2 loops on the hook, go into the next chain, and then through all 3. We're going to do that twice, so we need to do it again. So into the next chain, so we're leaving those 2 loops on our crochet hook, and then pull through all 3. We're going to double crochet into the next 4 chain, and then when we get to the last chain, we're going to make 2 stitches into the same stitch because we need to finish on an increase. Now if you have extra stitches than me, continue across and you'll just repeat that pattern, and you'll see what you'll need to do, because when you look at it, hopefully you'll be able to see it on this first row. See how it goes up, and it looks like a moustache or something. See how it goes up and down? So if when it's going down in there, this is the down section, it's where we do our decrease, and when we get to the bit that rises up, it's our increase. Again, it comes down, so that's our decrease section, and then it comes up, and that's our increase section. So if you can remember that, just by looking back across the row, you'll be able to remember where you're up to. And in between those 2 lots of increases or decreases, you've got 4 double crochets by themselves. So what we need to do now is go on to row 2, and it says chain 3, so you can turn your work and then chain 3, or chain 3 then turn. It is up to you, just depends how you do that. And double crochet into the same stitch. So see this bit here, that is the same stitch because the chain 3 is coming out of there. So double crochet into there. One double crochet into the next 4 stitches. And decrease into the next 2 stitches because we are in the bottom of our row. What do you want to call it? Like the dip bit? We're in the dip. So in the next 2 stitches we need to do a decrease, so it's leaving those 2 loops on the crochet hook. Pull through all 3. Into the next 2 as well we want to do a decrease. So pull through, leave those 2 loops, go into the next stitch, and then pull through all 3. Next 4 stitches we want to work a double crochet in each. Into the next 2 stitches we're going to work an increase, so that's working 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So again, working 2 double crochets in the same stitch. That loop looks a bit loose there. I'll just do that again. So that's 2 stitches and 2 stitches. Into the next 4 stitches we're going to work a double crochet. Just grabbing some more yarn. It's the only thing with the new ball, which this grey is, it's really hard to pull out at first. It doesn't flow like when you've used a bit of it. So you need 4 of those, so that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we're back down in the dip, so we're going to work our decrease. So that's worked over 2 stitches, so go into the next one. See how it's worked over 2 stitches. Into the next 4 stitches we're going to work 1 double crochet. And we can't forget our last stitch, and it looks like there's no more there, but there is. It's right here, right on the end here. So going into there, and you're going to go through 2 loops. Sometimes this can be harder than other times. I'm going to say that again. We're going to do 2 stitches. That's our first one. Go back into that same stitch and work your second double crochet. So that's what we've got so far. How cool is that looking? If you want to change colour, I'll show you how to do that now, because the remainder of the rows are exactly the same as what we just did. So let's repeat row 2. So just pull out those 2 loops. So when you were on that last part of that last double crochet, you would cut your yarn, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to change colour right now. But I'll show you how to do it anyway. Grabbing your new colour. Lay it on top of your crochet hook, and then I just pinch it between my fingers and I pull through the last 2 loops. pull down on the grey one, which is the last colour that you had, and also the new colour. I like to make sure I have about 2 inches of yarn there, and then continue on. So it'll be chain 3, just pull those snug, and then working, hang on, my yarn is tied of course, working into that first stitch for your first double crochet. And that's how we change colour. And then what you would need to do is sew in your ends as you go. Don't leave it to the last minute, even though I do sometimes. And I really hate that because you have to sew them in at the end and it's really annoying. So that's how you would change colour. So then you would repeat row 2 for the remainder of the project. Like I said, there is a written pattern, so if you forget what the row 2 is, you can print off the pattern and have that next to you. And I'm going to keep going. I don't know how many rows I'm going to do because I haven't actually made this scarf yet. So in the next video clip, I will show you how many rows I've done. I'm going to accent it with my contrast colour every now and again. I don't want too much of the blue. I want it to be mostly grey. But there will be a little bit of blue in there. So 2 favourite colours, blue and grey. So like I said, in the next video clip, you will see how many rows I've done and the length that I have as well. Until then, happy crochet, and I'll see you in the next video clip. For my scarf, I did 31 rows of grey. I did 2 rows of pink, 1 of the grey, 2 of the blue, and then I did 32 rows of the grey. And you're probably wondering why I did 32. Well, basically I just kept crocheting until my 5-ounce skein, which is 140 grams, pretty much run out. So I've only got this little bit left here at the end. Just trying to find the end. There we go. So I've only got that little bit left. It may have been enough to do another row, but then I wouldn't have had enough to sew that across there. Of course, that's if you're making the cowl. If you're making the scarf, then it doesn't matter. If you're making a scarf, you could put these colours in a different spot, because at the moment, if this is a scarf, this section here is around the back of your neck, so you're really not going to see the colour at all. So once you've done that, and all that information is also written on the written pattern, so you've got that to go by as well. So once we get to the end, I've finished this row, and what I'm going to do is just grab, what have I done there? So just make that loop, grab our yarn and just thread that through, and that finishes off that. And now we're going to sew the ends together. So to sew our ends together, this is the beginning row and this is the finishing row. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go between, see these stitches here? I'm actually going to go between there and then under both loops of the other section. Through both loops, through these 2 stitches right in the centre there, and then through both loops on the other side. You could slip stitch this and you could also crochet it together, but I'm choosing to sew it together this way. And we're going to repeat this all the way across. Don't pull your stitches too tight, but then also don't leave them too loose. And just keep going until you get to the other side. Once you get to the end, just want to finish off. So before we pull that loop closed, we're going to put our needle through the loop and then just fasten that off. Then what you want to do is sew in your end. So just going to weave it underneath the crochet stitches, just like you would sew in any other end. Here is my finished cowl. I think this has come out awesome. I like to wear my cowls doubled over. They keep my neck nice and warm during these winter months. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share your creations on our Facebook page, also on our Google+. Also check out the newsletter that is located on my website. I will put all the links that you need in the description box. Don't forget there's a free written pattern for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy crochet!